Good evening and welcome to another episode of The Voice Spotlight. This spotlight has been requested by a number of people at Victorious Living Faith Ministries, and I have been wanting to interview Fit4Life's creator, CEO, what other titles do you have? We're Fit for
Um,
Life.
for Fit for Life, well, right now for Fit for Life, I am a primary care provider. I am a licensed nurse practitioner with a doctor's degree under Fit for Life. I am a plant-based nutritionist, health coach, certified personal trainer, and an obesity management specialist. All these things under that one umbrella.
And that's one of my questions, but we'll get back to that one too. How are you this evening?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. So, Fit for Life, one of the questions, you've almost answered one of the questions, but everything has a beginning, everything has an origin. Can you tell us about where Fit for Life sprang from?
Basically, it sprang from me working in the hospital for so many years as a registered nurse. Whenever I would get report from another nurse, and they talk about African American people, we are the most likely and the highest risk for strokes and heart attacks. And during report, and I worked on a cardiac unit, a step down open heart step down unit. And whenever we will find out what's going on with this patient, especially African Americans, it's always diabetes. It was always high blood pressure. It was always non-compliance to medications. So I became a personal trainer first because I thought that if I teach people how to exercise, then that might be a way to help them to lose the weight. And it is a way to help them to lose the weight. But once I started NP school, then I realized there's a little bit more than this than just exercise. So I began to work with people, personal training them, and I made a lot of good results with these people. But once they stopped the program, they started back eating the same foods they were eating before because they did not stick to their diet because they've lost between 13 to 20 pounds, some have lost up to 30 pounds with the personal training that I was doing with them. And when they lost their weight, they pretty much have graduated. So I would see them in passing sometime or send them little letters, emails, asking how are they doing, and if they're still compliant. And a lot of my emails or text messages that I would get back is that you will be so upset with me, I've gained the weight back on again. So once I got into NP school, I started learning a lot more about medications, how medications work for people, but every medication that you put into your mouth have a side effect, okay? So one thing that really does not have a side effect is the right foods, okay? Bad foods have a side effect. Everything has a side effect, okay? The bad foods, if you eat them too much, I tell people you're not playing red light, green light anymore. So why are you eating foods that you were eating when you were playing red light, green light? So that kind of like make them to think as well. And then when I started learning about hemoglobin A1Cs, learning about the kidneys, how, diabetes can mess up the kidneys, put them on dialysis. I began to think, how can I help to fix this? And one day I saw this movie called What the Health? And that was my eye opener. What the Health? And I sat there and watched that movie from beginning to end. And coming from a medical background, everything made sense. A lot of people that have diabetes, it's nothing that is hereditary. This is a learned behavior. If your mama and your grandmama and your daddy and granddaddy were eating the foods and they had diabetes and, they had high blood pressure, some have strokes and heart attacks. That is not a genetic disease. It is a learned behavior. You learn how to cook like your mama. Your mama learned to cook like her mama. That's why they have diabetes. That's why they have high blood pressure. So I watched the movie from start to end, and it gave me a big eye opener. Um, just changing your diet, got people off a lot of medications, just changing the diet, helped them to have less aches and pains like arthritis. Just changing your diet just helped you to be a more functionable person for yourself. So I'm like, okay, so how can I help with that? Because in medical school, they don't teach you about nutrition except for maybe an hour or two of a class. But I needed more. I wanted to know more. So I took a class from a class online that was in Florida, Hippocrates. And I learned how to heal the body with the right foods. And with that teaching, I brought it to my patients, to my clients. And I do Fit4Life in the church, but I don't do my whole entire business as Fit4Life because everybody, you can't make anyone comply with, what you think is going to help them. I mean, it's not what I think, it's what I know, to be honest. I know it will help. I have lost so much weight. I have went down from 192 down to 158. And that was just changing my diet. A lot of people think that, ah, it's okay to eat meat. But I can say this, that with eating meat, beef, pork, um, uh, lamb, turkey, and sometimes chicken as well. But I say if you eat chicken and seafood, at least you're more 75% ahead of the game. Okay. So I tell people that eating foods, meats like that, is like a snake eating a rat. And we all can relate to a snake eating a rat. They eat the rat, but they can't keep moving. Normally, they will go somewhere and let it digest because it's too much to keep carrying this rat. And that's the way your colon works, okay? Your intestines work. When you eat a lot of meats, a lot of pork, what it does is sits in your intestines. And your intestines is located in the lower part of your belly. That's the part that actually expels, poops out the food, the lower part of the belly. So as it's moving through your intestines, it's moving very slowly because as you age on the outside, you can best believe that you are aging on the inside as well. I mean, yeah, aging on the inside as well. And a lot of people don't realize that. So it's a lot harder. A lot of people, older people, they start to develop this thing called constipation. Because again, you're not red light, green light anymore. You don't move like you used to. And even though you can, you don't. You choose not to. Okay. Well, I don't have time. And those are the things that heart attacks and strokes, they definitely depend upon people that say, I don't have time. Those that don't have time for exercise and maintaining a healthy lifestyle will have to soon understand that they're going to have to find time for illnesses and diseases. You can't just say, I don't have time, because those things, they definitely will hit you. When they hit you, a heart attack can definitely take you out. It's dependent upon how severe the heart attack is. A stroke doesn't take you out either. It just debilitates you. And I tell people, when you tell me that, oh my God, not eating this is so hard for me to do. Well, I give them another example. Imagine having a stroke and you have to lie there in your feces to wait for someone to turn you over, to clean you. You choose your heart. I'm telling you that these foods can increase your cholesterol levels. I'm telling you that these foods is hard for your body to digest. I don't make this stuff up. I fact check myself just to make sure that I know exactly what I'm saying. And by me fact checking myself, I learn more. So I'm able to spew off more to people. So I definitely love the fact that I have this knowledge. God has blessed me with this knowledge. And I try to educate as many as I can. But like the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink.
Okay. All right. So, and you brought up Fit for Life as the, let's say, a vehicle. So we at VLF, we don't see the broad view of Fit for Life. Is that what I heard?
Yes, you do not see my broad view.
Okay. So in that broader view, what else is out there that we don't see at?
BLF,
Yes.
my Fit for Life weight loss program. Okay. The program consists of an assessment that I will have to do to your body, labs, so I can see what I'm working with. I love to heal from the inside out because I know numbers. If I don't know anything, I know numbers and I know science.
Okay.
So I love to heal from the inside out. I, if you have high blood pressure and you're on medications, I need to know exactly what you're taking. And with my program, you take your blood pressure in the morning and in the evening. Okay. There's also a special scale that a lot of my clients have. And with this scale, this is a scale to where you cannot try to say, Dr. Brown, I don't know what happened, yada, yada, yada. I teach them about their weight, number one, okay? Because the weight is not the say, know all, say all. You look at those other 5 things that I tell them, which is your visceral fat. That's the fat that surrounds your heart and all of your other important organs. And there is a number that it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 11 or less. I'm 53 years old. Mine is 5. Okay. I teach them about their BMI. The BMI, when it's greater than 30, the doctors, not doctors, but the insurance companies look at your age, they look at your medications, and they see if you are a risk to them. That's why the BMI is so important when your doctor is doing your labs, doing your weight and your height. Because if your weight is above 30, you are considered to be obese. If your weight is above, BMI is above 40, then you're considered to be morbidly obese. If your BMI is over 50, then you are considered extremely morbidly obese. 60s and 70s, I've seen them all, okay? And when you have that much fat around your heart, it can't beat effectively like it's supposed to. But when you lose that weight, look how better your heart can beat. So I teach my patients about their visceral fat. I also teach them about their body fat percentage. Now, that is the number that tells on you, okay? So the body fat percentage for men is supposed to be less between 10 and 20. For women, it's supposed to be between 20 and 30. But overall measurements is supposed to be less than 33. But I teach my men, you want to try and get your body fat percentage between 10 and 20. Women, you want to be between 20 and 30. Again, I'm 53 years old. My body fat percentage, 20 to 30, mine is 18. Okay? That's because I cannot tell you to exercise and diet if I'm not doing the same thing. We like to think that as we get older, all these illnesses and diseases, they start to come on you. They will come on you if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Absolutely, it will. Okay? Because those things, they fester. They stay in the body. All right? Another thing that Fit for Life offers, I teach them about their skeletal muscle, the subcutaneous fat, their metabolic age. Try to get as close as you can to your metabolic age. I'm 53, but when I get on the scale, my metabolic age is 47. So I'm not going ahead, I'm going backwards. Okay? And that's what the body, my inside organs are saying. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but I am aging. Okay? But I'm not over 50 with my metabolic age. With my Fit for Life programs, my clients meet with me every week so we could talk about what they did last week and the game plan for the following week. They also have Zoom meetings with me every Sunday at 4 p.m. We call that weigh-in check-in, okay? With the weigh-in check-in, that is my opportunity to teach you about your hemoglobin A1Cs, your comprehensive metabolic panel, your lipid panel. I teach them all these things so when they go to their doctor, they'll know what their numbers should be. They will know, okay? I start taking people off medications in my program, as long as the numbers are showing that I can take them off. Because a lot of people say, you know, I'm not taking this medication. The only person you're hurting by not taking the medication is yourself. Your only time you get off medication is when your provider takes you off. I am a provider. I might not be theirs, but I am, because the pressures are dropping low. They can't get in touch with their doctors, but I'm the reason why the pressures are low, because they're eating better. They're eating healthier. Now, I can tell when someone in my program eats something that's not supposed to because the pressure go up high. I was speaking to a client today. He started out as 265 heat. Now he's down to 239, and he's only been with me for 2 months. He thought that he can reward himself when he was driving by Panera and say, you know what, let me just get a muffin. I've been doing good. And then he said, Dr. Brown, I'm not lying. He said, out of nowhere, he said, you got in my head and said, you ain't done nothing. Why are you trying to reward yourself? And I had to think about it. He's like, where's she at? I mean, it was so loud in my head. He said, you got to go because I can't do what I want to do. And I said, that's just it, sir. I have to get inside your head. You are with Fit4Life. You will not fail my program. And if you fail the program, it will not be because of Fit4Life. I can't allow you to fail the program, sir. You are on blood pressure medication. Your kidneys were off. Okay? Dialysis. Okay?
Right.
I also monitor my clients. We do a food log, an exercise log. We do finger sticks and blood pressures every day. And I have to post these things every day. And I'll go in and I'll look at their numbers at the end of the night. I will look at the numbers, I will look at the foods, and I look at each person individually. It allows you to see everybody all at once. But I realize I'm like, I might miss something on someone. So, and I don't trust my clients. I don't trust my patients. I don't trust anybody until you show me that you can be trusted. Okay? So I will look at each person individually, and I'll look to see what they did when they stopped their intermittent fasting, what the game plan is going to be the next time that I see them. If I see a pressure go up or a pressure go down, I will tell them, hey, look, you need to do this or need to do that. If a pressure went up and your pressure has been more stable, I will ask them, what did you eat? Because it's all in the diet. Okay. So this program is solid proof. It works. And I don't say that to boost and boast myself. I say that because it's true. I have learned the body and the science of the body, and numbers don't lie. And my patients see that numbers don't lie. So at the end of the 90 days, I only ask for 90 days of a person's life. Of course, they can stay and be put on the maintenance program because they don't trust themselves. So by staying and being on the maintenance program, that allows me to still monitor you, have our every other week meeting. It still allows me to be able to do the Zoom calls with you, just allows me to hold you accountable still. And when they're completely done with the 90 days, I will send a letter to their doctors to let them know this is what their numbers were when they started my program. This is what their numbers are now. This is why the pressure's down. The visceral fat. And some doctors don't know what all those things are, but those things are important to me because it's my way of teaching people how to take back control of their health.
I think I've learned in the last, not just talking to you, but you're driving the point home. I've learned in the last, let's say 90 days, 3 months, that sometimes the nurses know more than the doctors.
We do.
And I have a niece that's she's a new RN, but I've talked to a few more, and I've seen it happen, or the report came back to me about my grandson where this doctor was rushing to do something, and the nurse was like, whoa, 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 you can't do that, blah, 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 and laid this plan out for what he was going to do, probably would have hurt my grandson worse. So, and like I say, and talking to my niece, I'm finding out that nurses, yourself included, delve deeper into the patient than the doctors do.
Again, like I said, we're not taught about nutrition. except maybe 1 or 2 hours in our medical field. We're not taught about nutrition. This was me going out on my own, trying to see how I can help people to live a more healthier life. This was my decision. Everybody is individualized. I do know that I had this cardiologist. I used to work with her at University of Maryland. Erica Feller is her name, white lady. And I took care of a lot of her patients. We did LVAS, which is a left ventricular assistive device. That means that it pumps your heart for you because your heart is too weak. We've dealt with people with pulmonary hypertension. We've dealt with people on dialysis. We've dealt with everything on that floor. It was an open heart step down unit. Okay. So by us dealing with a lot of patients, I learned a lot on that unit. So whenever there was a problem with the patient, I will call the doctor and tell them what the problem is and what I suggest should be done. I've never had a doctor say, no, we're not doing that. Maybe one, but not many doctors say we're not doing that. So that was another reason why I became a nurse practitioner, because if I'm calling you with a problem and telling you the solutions, then I'm doing your job.
Mhm.
Why not get the money? Okay.
So do they not, and my whole sheet is just out the window, Shay. Everything that I was going to ask is just like,
I do apologize.
no, because I'm actually learning. I kind of thought that what we see Fit4Life was just the tip of the iceberg, and it just proved that out. But going back to this thing with the doctors, do they not come back with a challenge because I know egos can become involved, but you make so much sense to them, they can't dispute what you're sending. Is that factual? Is that
I'm going to say this. I am a nurse practitioner with a doctor's degree. I was a nurse practitioner first, and then my patients kept saying Dr. Brown. I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm a nurse and I have a master's degree. I don't have a doctorate. So they pushed me to go back to school, okay, to get my doctorates. So when you see people as a nurse practitioner, they still categorize you as a nurse. And there's a difference in the two, okay? A nurse practitioner is just like any other primary care provider. We see patients. We diagnose them. We give them medication. We have to see them every 3 months or whatever the need is. We have to see them. So yes, I am a nurse. First, I was a nurse, but I am a nurse practitioner is what I tell people. So by people calling me a doctor, I'm not an MD. I'm an NP, which we can still have that doctor's degree. I mean, people have a doctor's degree in education. I have a doctor's degree in nursing. All right. So people like to just keep saying you're a nurse. I'm not a nurse, is what I want to say. I am a licensed nurse, family medical nurse practitioner. I see between the ages of 0 to 99. Being said, a lot of the doctors where I work, some of them are my patients. MDs. And they send patients that have issues with their weight, diabetes, they send them to me. Not that they don't want to treat them, but they say, you know what? I'm going to send you somewhere. You don't want to take medication. I'm going to send you to Brown-Brown. She'll get you straight. And I will. I tell my patients, don't make me care more about your health than you do. When you keep coming back with odd numbers and you know that you're doing the wrong things, and I am not the physician you need to see, provider you need to see. You need to see someone else that's going to give you every pill in the book. Me, I'm trying to save lives. That's all I want to do is save a life.
Well, I've seen, even before this, of course, I've seen when you talk to the folks that are working out with you, it's a passion, it's a ministry, it's it's deep with you, and I've seen that. Some of the questions that I had, you went over, and
It
some
has
of
to be deep for me, Spencer, because would you want a provider to play with your health?
that's true.
So why are you? Is what I ask people.
Okay.
You want me to give you 110% of me, but you're coming back here with the wrong numbers, and you know what you're doing.
Right.
One patient told me, well, I just love pork chops. I said, food is like an abusive relationship. I have to get inside people's heads. Katrina is going down the street and she's cheating on you with Tyrone. She comes back to see you, Spence, and you have an STD. You start to have a little itching. You're not feeling good. When you urinate, it burns when you pee.
Okay.
So you go to the doctor, get a urine test, you have chlamydia or gonorrhea or trichomonas. Well, I haven't been with anybody but Katrina. So you go to speak to her. I'm not going to do it again. I love you, yada, yada, yada. Well, you know what? Katrina goes back out. Well, and then you tell yourself and you tell her, I do love you, honey. I'm going to stay with you. I love you. But Katrina's right back down the street with Tyrone again. Come home after you come from work because she's home all day. You got another STD. But I love her. I wish she would just stop. I love her. And you love your pork chops too, don't you? One patient said, Dr. Brown, you're taking that out of context. No, sir. You said you love your pork chops. Now your hemoglobin A1C is in the double digits. You have +4 pitting edema. Now I got to send you to a cardiologist because I'm questioning your heart. Now I have to send you to an endocrinologist because I'm questioning the medication. Or better yet, I'm going to put you on some medication. I'm going to increase every pill you have. And it's not because I want to. I said I have to protect you from yourself. Isn't that sad? I got to protect you from your own self. That you're not capable of taking care of your own health because you love pork chops, because you love fried chicken, because you love steak. You're a diabetic, sir. You're over the age of 60. You can't have it. Just like you can't have Katrina. Now, would you stay with Katrina if she studied bringing you an STD, Spence?
I wouldn't, but
Exactly. So why would you keep eating foods that's going to mess with your inside organs? Love yourself first before anybody can even love you. Show yourself, and I tell my patients, every patient that sits across from me is important. And again, don't make me care more about your health than you do.
okay. Well, it's given me some things to think about, and I'm sure it's going to give everybody else some things to think about. What I can't do is think of some more questions because of what you just did. But that's good. It's good knowledge. But I do want to ask something about Dr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
She's a mom. She's a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
She's a fitness trainer.
Mhm.
She's a choir director.
I know.
You know, and if I'm not mistaken, you have a social media presence of your own.
I do. I do. I also model as well. I have a show coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So
So
that's
where do you find time?
anything that's important to you, Spencer, you will find time for it.
Okay. All right.
You will find time.
Now I'll have to let the people know that don't know Dr. Brown and Shay Brown, the model and the mom. So I'm looking at Disney Plus a few months ago,
Mhm.
and I get onto Net Geographic, and I'm looking at a show with one of my favorite actors, Chris Hemsworth, and then I'm looking at Limitless, and all of a sudden they're in Baltimore. Okay, that's cool. And we're going to talk to Ernestine Shepherd. Well, I know her because I met her back at Powerhouse Gym, way back in the day. And then I see Shay Brown.
That's my
Um,
fitness mama.
yeah, so and I restarted this thing and it's giving me some more minutes. But anyway, we got a couple minutes. How was that? Your face, I mean, they may not know who Dr. Shay Brown is, but it's national. It's out there.
Yeah, it
How was
is.
that experience?
Well, I met Ernestine about maybe 12 years ago at the Baltimore Women's Classic run. Okay. And I've been looking her up and following her on social media. And when I saw her, I was just in, oh my God, it's you, yada, yada, yada. But she knows it, who she is. And she gave me her telephone number. We talked for a little bit. She gave me her telephone number. So she did a speaking at my um, health and wellness festival on 2018. She did that for me. And she and I became very close. You know, she told me about her walks, and I would make sure I'm there at every walk. She would make sure that I had a platform to speak, to talk about what I do and who I am. And we started getting closer and closer. And her son passed away in February, this February that just passed. And her husband died like 2 years prior. So she's a woman that, you know, she has a lot of family, but I wanted to do something for her. So I cook her meals. I cook her meals every week, nice fresh meals, you know,
Okay.
not a lot of seasonings, fresh fruits and vegetables. She loves watermelons. She loves strawberries. So I make sure, and bananas. So I make sure I pack all those things in there for her. And, you know, she tells me and she tells other people that, you know, works out with her, I'm going to be filmed here. I would love for you guys to be a part of that. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll be a part of that. But I didn't realize I was going to be a part of that, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
We just had a filmmaking in June. These guys came down from Paris. And I kind of like handled the whole entire thing for her because normally her son would do that. But, you know, she asked me, you know, can I help her with it? And I'm like, of course. I took her some food over to her house and I told her, I said, yeah, I'll help you. So they gave me a lot of like film time. And I was like, very, okay, what do I say? But I just sat there and I was just my natural self, you know. We went to a diner after we filmed one segment. And when we went to the diner, everybody was like stopping her. And I'm like, we're never going to get in here to eat our lunch. And then somebody's like, you're Dr. Shay. I'm like, oh my God, somebody recognizes me. I know you. You are on Dr. K show. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Oh, I've been watching my diet. I know you see these potatoes, but I didn't eat all of them. I'm like, I don't care what you eat. So me and Mama Ernestine, we're really close. We talk at least about maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I
Mhm.
have to call her when I'm done here as well, just to make sure
Well,
she's tucked
and
in.
I have to apologize to both you and the audience here is that I had problems with one of the Zooms that I use, and I'm using a personal Zoom, and we have a few minutes left. But in that few minutes, I want you to tell us about plant-based palette.
Plant-based palette is my first of many books. I've already started on the children's cookbook. And this is a health and wellness cookbook. And it talks about a lot of the things that I explained in the beginning of our Zoom call. It talks about food as foes or food as medicine. It talks about like plant-based and talks about plant-based diet versus veganism. It talks about blood pressure, what the normal blood pressure should be. It talks about diabetes. It talks about herbs that you should be using to make your foods taste more flavorful. It talks about everything. And I mean, I think I have at least about 100 pages or close to 90 pages of just education. And then the rest of the pages is all recipes of foods that I talked about in the beginning and how to make your fruits and vegetables and everything else taste so good. And with that, I have been approached for office building that I'm hoping to be moving in December to
Okay.
have my own office building. So yeah, a lot of great things is going on.
So I'm going to ask that you come back. We'll give some people time to let this digest because they're going to have to after they hear what I heard, it's going to start some wheels moving. Um, of course, I know you, so I'm going to get the book. And sometime in post-production, I am going to put up how to purchase the book. Now, when I originally saw there was pre-orders, is it still pre-orders?
There are pre-orders. I'm going to have the hard paperback that should be ready on September 1st. Okay.
Okay.
So if people want to purchase online, they can purchase online now and it will be ready on September 1st.
Okay.
But the actual book, I had to get it proofread a little bit. Um, my ambassador, he's a stickler on perfection and he has my book now, so he's reading over the book and then it should be ready on the 1st with the release of the ebook as well. So You can get the ebook paperback now, or you could just wait till September 1st to buy the hard book. But I will be having books in my possession if anyone want to buy any. Now the hardback books, the paperback books, they are 51, and then the ebooks, they're 40.
Okay. So like I said, I will be in post-production. I will give them the links on how to pre-order, and we can let them know how to get the hardback when it comes out.
I appreciate
So, like I say, I have to apologize about the time, but I have recognized that this is not something like this show, and having you on it is just like what you're doing. It's not going to be done in 40 to 45 minutes. It's something that we have to revisit every now and then. And we want to, and I will put in links on how anyone can get in touch with you, whether they want to do the 90-day and then go into the maintenance, or just inquire, or have you speak for them, because it is a lot of good knowledge.
You can
So,
send them the email address askdrshay@gmail.com.
okay. And
Just ask Dr. No period Shay@gmail.com. That's
all right.
how you can get in contact with me.
I will display it out there, and we'll put it out there, and we'll get you more national recognition. So I can say I know who she is. So I thank you, Shay, for coming on tonight. I know you're busy, and I am going to start working on post-production of this in about 30 minutes. I'm gonna get up and stretch and get something to eat. But I appreciate you coming on. It was a while in coming, but as we always say at the church, everything falls in when it's supposed to come in. So
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me, Spence.
no problem. I appreciate you. Take care, dear. Say hello to the family.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
Same to you.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Good night.